To celebrate Jenny's birthday, daughters who are old enough to get married showcased beautiful styles on the street. Burgeoning provided specially selected male models for the celebration. She thought she was the mistress of this chaos, but the moment she entered the bar, the malicious bartender had his eyes on her beautiful face from the instant she walked in. Jenny intended to leave her friends behind and head out alone first. However, in the corner, a malicious man was waiting for the opportunity to be alone with her. That day, Jenny went missing. If she had listened to her parents, and if she had had her birthday party at home, she might have avoided this disaster. Jenny's parents run a construction company. During the summer vacation, she helped with accounting at the family business, and while she was on the computer, Dad, seeing the party list she had created on the computer, didn't originally want to agree, but Jenny persistently begged him. Ultimately, she succeeded and got her dad's credit card. Adam felt as if he were looking at his future, where his beloved daughter would soon grow up. As a father, he must exhaust every means for the day when she comes of age. He goes to meet his demands. He has been working as a security consultant for this company. He has been working here for a long time, but he is somewhat different from an ordinary security consultant. He protects not only the safety on site but also the safety of his employees. Seeing troublemakers being brought in by the gang, Adam could not stand by. Noticing that the situation was not resolving, Adam took matters into his own hands. The opponent, enraged after having his pipe scattered, attempted to draw his gun. As a result, even after being knocked down by Adam with a steel pipe, the opponent was still unruly. Seeing this, Adam directly knocked the gun from his hand and then fiercely pinned him down with a knife. He pinned him to the concrete, but a large number of gang members rushed in. Realizing the situation was deteriorating, Adam grabbed a bag of water vigorously. While the gang boss's opponent was confused, Adam grabbed the shotgun nearby. He took the shotgun and pressed it firmly against the boss's head. He threatened him to take his men and leave, and such dangerous individuals were not something the gang could handle. Adam saved the worker. He left without taking credit, but Jenny had seen everything. If her father was the security consultant for her house, she was sure he would be shocked. Jenny's grandfather was a former soldier. He had previously taught him how to break fingers. He also taught him how to track animals. Adam took the food he received from him and smiled warmly, as he had nowhere to live after retiring. Adam spends every day in his car to solve issues for the company, and his friends are grateful for his help, always bringing him food. However, such days may seem cool at a glance. This brought him something to lose regarding his daughter's seriousness after his wife committed suicide. The daughter, who finally smiled, actually loved her daddy very much. He can only go visit her when he has time. You have to go too. Please go. Gip is very dissatisfied with this silent son. He is a subordinate. He has never fulfilled his responsibilities as a father. His daughter needs him. Even when his daughter needs him, he is still in that damn place. He can't return from his subordinate position. In his eyes, Adam looks like a murderer. He's a scumbag who can only solve problems with violence, but Adam knows he can't defend himself. He knows he cannot do it. He only wants to leave all his kindness for his daughter. The battered face of Adam, who heard that his daughter had been waiting for him all along. My daughter finally smiled and said that she actually loves her daddy, even if it's her own. Even though Adam was not around much during his childhood, he was also learning well. Adam is also learning to become a great father. This is Mom. I put that photo in my father's camera. However, Gip has packed away all the old photos so that he wouldn't remember Megan's deceased mother. Sometimes Megan even forgot her mother's face. Long ago, Megan even held a grudge against her mother. She left her, leaving her feeling lonely. He too had moments where he resented himself. He didn't know that, but the current situation can't be said to be good. Why? Is that Gip is fighting for custody of the children. He suffers from post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and as a prominent veteran with violent tendencies, he cannot be considered an ideal caregiver. Moreover, GIF has proposed to reduce the visitation time from 2 hours a week to 1 hour every 2 weeks. He may not even have a stable residence, possibly due to lack of marital support. He has struggled with depression his whole life. The lawyer noted that the opposing team is very. He warned him that if there were internal conflicts, he would be the professional. If the trial continued, Adam would definitely be the one to wear down first. However, Adam has lost his wife, and he cannot afford to lose another child. This rough man even compromised, treating his car as a home to gain custody of his child. The next day, he intended to ask his boss for an advance on his salary, but at the office, he encountered the police and heard the story that Jenny had gone missing, which surprised Adam slightly. Even more troublesome was that the police could not handle this type of missing person case. They only create a missing person report. Hearing his boss ask him to help find his daughter, and just recently, Adam had won his daughter's heart. Adam hesitated. No one knew what had happened to Jenny. They had no idea if she was caught up in some dangerous incident. They didn't know if she was in danger. Even if his boss offered money to seek help, Adam still refused, because at that moment, he couldn't make promises to anyone. He couldn't do it. His mind was troubled, so he drove to an old friend's house. He had done so, but an arrow almost pierced his head. Adam felt a little more at ease with his friend's jokes. He was with Donnie. They had served in the military, and during a mission, Donnie was injured. Adam risked his life to save him. He pulled him from hell, but even then, Donnie lost his sight. When Adam asked about Jenny, Donnie actually already had a conclusion. He said, "You need my permission to do what you've been thinking about for a while." In the end, Adam, a man who hates evil, made a decision that Jenny has always trusted. He asked his boss for help. He didn't need a reward, simply honoring a promise made to Jenny's parents. He declined a full scholarship to a music academy to help her parents' business. Such a kind girl should not meet a tragic end. Seeing his boss living a life filled with despair gave Adam hope. A return to his past pain was not an option for him, but for his friend in front of him, there was still a chance. Over the years, Jenny had become like family to him. So Adam decided to help his daughter. What he should do now is take good care of the rest of the family. The bar where Jenny went missing is overflowing with missing persons posters. They are of no use at all. The important thing is to take good care of the other family members since Jenny is missing. In the bar, posters of missing persons are overflowing, serving no purpose at all. Adam is watching over Jenny, who is at the entrance in the car. Despite the people he has interviewed during his investigation, the bartender remains the prime suspect. Whether he is an intermediary or the criminal, Adam wants to extract clues from him. Adam is in the hallway where Jenny was attacked, wanting to find everything. He notices that all the surveillance cameras are broken, and on the floor, he finds Jenny's earrings. There is definitely something hidden in this bar. Adam installed a GPS on the bartender's car, and he followed it straight to the bartender's house. Late at night, the bartender is trying to enjoy smoking a hookah. Meanwhile, Adam first removed the GPS and then took out his tools to pick the lock, quietly sneaking inside. While the bartender was distracted, Adam pushed the door open. First, he seized the gun that was on his desk, and then he started interrogating him about Jenny. The bartender initially denied everything. He was drunk. After saying that, he was taken away by his friends and couldn't control his drinking. "Can't you control yourself, bitch? Are you saying he has a problem with alcohol?" Adam had quickly known that he didn't need to tell the truth to this liar. He had long known that he didn't have to be honest with this liar's mouth. He trusted his own means more than that. Adam unhesitatingly confronted the bar owner, and then took him to the restroom to open the bathtub's faucet. No, he knew he would be killed, but adrenaline would accelerate his heart to survive. He knew this, but adrenaline would speed up his heart to survive. He would desperately breathe until the nervous system warned him. No's judgment would be affected. This would affect his choices, making a sudden death a very contradictory way to die. The bar owner in front of him wasn't skilled in that, so Adam showed no mercy. Hearing that the boss behind the bar owner killed people, Adam became even more interested. He only needed the bar owner to say their names. However, just at that moment, the bar owner's accomplice, the bar owner, shouted loudly to alert his companions. He raised their alarm, but Adam used him as a meat shield, unaware. The unsuspecting companions opened fire as soon as someone opened the door, damaging their firearms. Adam, seeing their stunned expressions, immediately retaliated. After a few gunshots in retaliation, Adam took them all down, then he began to search while wearing gloves. There he realized these individuals were connected to the Russian gang. Knowing this, he quickly constructed a scene of gunfire to distract attention. After faking the scene of the shootout, he waited outside for the former boss of the security detail to arrive. Meanwhile, the kidnapped Jenny also woke up. She had been mistreated and was in tatters. She was in terrible condition, and the only reason she was alive was due to God's grace. After that, a man in a suit arrived at the security consultant's house, where Mercedes was parked. He came into the room, unaware that Adam was watching her intently from a distance. Nobody knew that Adam was watching, as everyone believed the security detail was reviewing their companions. There, however, the suited man noticed something different. Immediately, the suited man called his subordinates to clear the scene and randomly summoned people. He had them take away the money left in their vault. Adam had waited a long time. At that moment, his daughter called. Today was supposed to be the day they met. However, now Adam was unable to move as the suited man drove away. Adam quickly got into his car to follow. He carefully kept his distance as the suited man turned left and right. He arrived at a mansion. Adam couldn't get too close. He stopped his car nearby and, disguised with a listening device, at that moment, the suited man was arguing loudly with his wife about life. The wife kindly suggested he take a little break. However, the suited man raised his hand and slapped her. Seeing this man, who only sought money, the wife became enraged and slammed the door. She stormed off, leaving only the suited man in the large mansion. This was just the sudden hot coffee that gave Adam a chance to act. After it was thrown on his face, Adam overwhelmed him on the spot like a god. Adam, who had subdued him, took him to the pool for a very cunning torture. After making the tools, he tried to make the suited man answer some questions. If he cooperated honestly, he intended to do nothing to him. The suited man was still threatening. The man in the suit was still threatening, but Adam didn't care at all, whether he was the boss of the gang or the underboss. To Adam, anyone who doesn't listen is dead, regardless of whether they are the boss or underboss of the gang. In the end, in every era there are scum of Russian gangs who do dirty things without following rules. The man in the suit was threatening him as long as he was alive. He would face revenge spanning 3 generations. However, those who are tight-lipped, Adam typically beats them to wake them up. Ultimately, now, the only one who can be revived is. His life was like a cannon that could be struck to awaken him. It's not him, it's Adam who heard that it's not for the money, but to search for the kidnapped girls. He's really regretting it. The suited man is searching for the girls who were abducted. He can't understand why he got involved with scum like Ubao and brought such a big mess upon himself. The suited man truly can't comprehend his own thoughts. He doesn't understand why he would oppose the entire brotherhood for one girl. As long as the man in front of him seems crazy, but looking into Adam's serious eyes, the suited man felt fear for the first time, and that fear, it made him insult him, causing Adam to lose his patience. Adam, who was committing murders in succession, had to calm himself. However, since this incident was related to the Brotherhood, he determined the next target. The death of the suited man shook the upper echelons of the Brotherhood. The surveillance camera captured Adam ruthlessly killing people, resembling a hard man licking blood off a blade. Even the tough men were somewhat shaken. He had stolen money from the gang and returned to kill the suited man. It seemed he could not get what he wanted. It seems that wasn't the case. Perhaps this time his friend's fatal mistake led to this stubborn problem on the enemy's side. However, now it was an urgent issue. The man had his subordinates search for Adam, while Jenny encountered the person who was holding her captive. Desperately, she explained that this was a misunderstanding. She and her parents were law-abiding citizens, not knowing that the people caught here would subsequently lose their identity. They would only become subjects to others. She will become like a judged sow, obedient to Jenny. Unless threatened, she would put a hole in her head, and Jenny would just remain as she is. While enduring a day here, Adam called his police friend. He wanted information about Dimi. His friend told him that Dimi is a troublesome presence, the nominal boss of the Russian gang, and the police can't easily intervene. Adam wanted his friend to investigate. He is thinking of information on human trafficking and drugs, perhaps related to Jenny. Clues might be found. After obtaining clues, Adam hurried to the bar. He headed to the bar, but this is a place where bikers gather. Adam carefully ordered a beer. However, unfamiliar faces quickly raised the bar's security. A tattooed woman raised suspicion that Adam would cause trouble. They thought he was police, so they instructed a tattooed man to handle him. The man who suddenly sat next to him had malicious intent, and Adam didn't want to cause trouble. He didn't want to create any trouble, but the tattooed man was giving him a meaningful look. This made Adam a bit cautious, so he focused on the tattooed man. He entered the center of the bar, and immediately he was surrounded by many strong men. He was surrounded by strong men who realized he hadn't come here to cause a scene. They noticed he wasn't looking for trouble. What are you looking for? Just, I want drugs. What did you bring? Money? Do you have a knife? Adam denied to the man that he was the police. Then the strong man made him turn out his pockets to check for a badge. Adam didn't harbor any real malice toward them, but if these guys were intimidating, he wouldn't mind giving them a little lesson. As everyone lunged at him all at once, Adam used his agility to fight back. However, the disparity in strength was against him. At a slight disadvantage, a small thug was about to attack with a bottle of alcohol. Adam, without a weapon, smashed it with his fist. Such actions were never gentlemanly. The act of the attack could never be called gentlemanly. When Adam tried to take him down, the muscular man finally shouted for him to stop. He certainly didn't look like the police he disliked. Adam said he was just a construction worker. However, the supervisor saw through that he had once been a soldier. The corrupt escaped from the plan, and then we got on the bus, trembling. If we could converse equally, things would go better next time, Adam thought. Said he came to buy drugs, and if the route was safe, he could transport 2 kilos a month. His Chicago contact had gone missing. However, the order required a 24-hour supply. Time is money. He didn't want to expand the losses. He came to find a supplier, and after setting the price, the supervisor decided to help him with this request. It was a cookie shop located on the straight north of the highway. Go there at 7 a.m. for breakfast and take 5 cookies. It's easy to talk. I have to leave here quickly. Soon Adam arrived at the restaurant on Empire Street. He arrived there, and the tattooed man was waiting for him. The previous meeting had not been very enjoyable. Because it wasn't very enjoyable, the tattooed woman pulled out a gun and threatened him for money. She threatened him to hand it over, and upon closer inspection, the gun was exactly the same as the one pressed against Jenny's head. Seeing Adam comply with what was said, the tattooed man thought he was a soft persimmon. He said he should wait for a call from him if he wanted to go get his stuff. He received a call from Correlation, hearing that someone had hidden a gift under his car seat. Adam then found 2 kilograms of drugs. Apparently, it was indeed hidden there. Adam found 2 kilograms of drugs. It seemed that this was indeed the case. That burly man seems to be testing his loyalty, but Adam has no interest in drugs. What he seeks is to expose the human trafficking business behind drugs. He aims to uncover the business of human trafficking associated with drugs. Late at night, 2 men hid Jenny into the Mediterranean man, who said he saw Jenny, and that Seeing her would remind him of the hidden nude photos at his father's house. However, before achieving results, he needed to extinguish the fire properly. The man took out a tuning device, confirming that there were no cries of pain in the box. After confirming this, he wore a lewd smile. However, suddenly, there was a bloody handprint on the fish tank. The Mediterranean man burst out covered in blood. That bite from Jenny nearly put him at death's door. He was really pretending to sleep just a moment ago. And at that moment, Adam's chain of clues had become increasingly complete. In order to pass it to a senior connection, however, the first condition to enter the banquet was, Adam first had to get a suit. And when Adam arrived at the track where the big man had mentioned, the security here was much more cautious than he had expected. And this time, he finally met the big man's boss, Dimmy. Adam tried to maintain as harmless a smile as possible, to alleviate Dimmy's suspicion, and when asked for his name, he had prepared in advance, especially creating a fake identity. As expected, the other party quickly checked his identification. Dimmy was quite cautious, especially that his car was dental. He investigated and pretended to be a person in a deadlock. Dimmy was able to do business with him confidently. Dimmy said that the big man was like a fossil to him. Here, he is at the top, and he wanted to ensure that Adam would not have troublesome kids. He wanted to make sure that troublesome kids weren't involved while his subordinate held his ID. There was nothing unusual found in it. Dimmy was now completely at ease doing business with him. When Adam shook Dimmy's hand, he realized that this matter was half successful. When a large box was handed over to Adam, realizing this, Dimmy also acknowledged that he had truly become an ally. If he needed more products, he just needed to send a rabbit emoji to the big man over the phone. While seeing his greedy expression, he cut open the bag with a knife. He threw a whole bag of drugs into the toilet. After returning, he carefully reviewed the tweet sent by Jenny's friend. I saw that the tattooed man frequently appeared in photos before. Noticing something, Adam hurriedly opened the phone he had received from the bartender before. As expected, he found a photo of himself with the tattooed man inside. He realized there was an issue with that bar. He quickly returned and eavesdropped on their conversation. However, the tattooed woman in the monitor room found his car. With Yeshi's help, all the disguises were sudden. Soon, Adam listened to the other party's conversation. Realizing he had been exposed, he did not panic. Rather than hiding, he preferred to listen directly. After taking down a nearby biker, Adam rode away on his bike. When the panicked tattooed woman ordered a U-turn, Adam was already several kilometers away, but soon the pursuer caught up. The approaching pursuer fired mercilessly. The bullets grazed Adam's scalp. Reluctantly, he turned into the adjacent alley, finally shaking off a car. Adam couldn't feel at ease. Both sides faced off on the mountain road. Suddenly, reinforcements dispatched from the opposing side appeared, and he immediately drifted and rolled down the mountain. This line is already included in the previous sentence as a continuation. However, the opposing side had no intention of letting him escape. After a series of gunshots, Adam crashed his bike. He collided with a police vehicle that was patrolling, and Adam was thrown against the windshield. He suffered in pain from the impact. The confused police thought he was about to attack them. They thought he intended to assault them, but the pursuer was right behind him. Unexpectedly, the opponent was a black police officer who, after receiving the signal, delivered Adam without hesitation. This line is already included in the previous sentence as a continuation. When Adam woke up, two clowns were staring intently at him. They questioned him about his relationship with Dimmy, regarding the man he had antagonized at the pool. Upon hearing this, they realized that the man was the uncle of the two clowns. This line seems to be incomplete. Please provide the rest for a proper translation. If the man in the suit hadn't talked so much, I wouldn't have acted so quickly. Those two flashy dressed guys in front of me are probably not well-mannered due to poor upbringing. The embarrassed clown probably tried to tie up Adam. In the next moment, he kicked the clown who was binding his legs fiercely. After spinning once to regain his posture, Adam quickly snatched the gun amid the commotion behind him. Hearing this, the subordinate driving the car slammed on the brakes, fearing a delay. This fear inadvertently gave Adam an opportunity. The pistol fell to the ground. 3 men desperately fought over it, but such chaos was exactly what Adam excelled at. He strongly subdued one of the clowns, thanks to his companions. He avoided choking right away, and Adam seized the gun in a situation where he was surrounded. He had no choice but to shoot to create a chance for himself. In the next moment, he suddenly shot the driver in the head with one shot. The truck was swaying along the mountain road, soon rolling off the cliff into the river. Adam, who had stopped nearby, rolled around violently inside. However, somehow, the two of them, while trying to control his opponent, the toolbox that had been placed nearby opened up. Adam, caught off guard, pulled out a hammer and struck his opponent fiercely. Taking them by surprise, he lunged again and snatched the gun, taking their lives at the scene. Adam hurriedly cut through his bindings, regained his freedom, and he kicked open the truck door in a rush, and pushed the swaying truck into the river. He attempted to cover up the evidence and the night became his best hiding place. It seemed like that. After a while, the man kissed the bodies of his 2 sons. The hand that did it was stabbed in the stomach. First his friend, then his son, Adam. His entire family is being provoked, while Jenny hurt a customer. Meanwhile, Demi was very dissatisfied with Vincent because Jenny had harmed a customer. Demi said they were engaged in physical trade and mentioned the underhanded surgery. However, they are not doing that. Such mistakes can quickly ruin their business. There are no promises or salvation, and the customer's anger could potentially ruin everything. To calm the situation, Demi had just paid the customer $200,000. Winson was horrified. Now the customer wanted to kill Jenny. Demi was also after her life. If Winson didn't handle this well again, if it didn't go well, Demi intended to make him pay. At that moment, the elders of the Russian gang were in a meeting, and everyone but the distracted Demi was filled with anxiety. The rest were anxious, and now Demi was hiding in his basement. He couldn't even tweet. In the end, a hitman from the council found him. Cuz punched him once and shot his blade halfway. The man who shot him slowly sat in front of Demi. And when Demi saw Adam's photo, he was shocked and his hair stood on end. I never thought the bikers would introduce me to my business partner. Demi really doesn't know that this could turn into such a big trouble. He swore he had only met Adam for 5 minutes, but Demi saw. The man caught on camera saw Adam's forged ID and gave him a glance. As a piece of unsolicited advice, the man said that the real target of Adam's anger was actually himself. Demi watched as the man who said that left with the hitman and simply felt his cold sweat trickling down. Immediately, based on the fake ID's information, the hitman found Adam's previous military records. Giff never could have imagined the extent of trouble his daughter's fiancé had caused. At that moment, Adam was just about to pick up his daughter from school, when suddenly, his daughter, who wouldn't reply to messages, made him a little worried. He grew a bit anxious, especially when Adam noticed someone was following him. As he pondered this, he decided it was best to inform his daughter of the situation. He made up his mind. His daughter's ideas were just too grand. Adam was momentarily at a loss for words. He would have his daughter open the software's location sharing. After confirming that he was at home, Adam immediately changed direction. He headed home, but the raging fire made Adam realize that he was late. He told his daughter to stay in the car, and then he kicked down the door and went inside to rescue people. He kicked down the door and went inside to rescue people. The old man couldn't understand where these crazy people had come from. He never thought that a Russian gang would cause his family to suffer together. Hearing this, Adam's expression turned stern as the old man told him to leave this matter to the police. He said to leave the matter to the police. He didn't want to see Adam involved in violence anymore. He didn't want to see him getting involved in hurting someone or getting hurt himself. However, these gangsters made a big mistake. That was hurting Adam's family. He took the old man to the hospital. He took him to the hospital and had the police protect him, and his daughter was in a better place. He asked Donnie to take care of his daughter, even though Donnie was just a friend. Even if he doesn't prefer to be in a dangerous situation, Adam must act for justice. He must see it through, since he has come this far through bloodshed. So now he has no choice but to carve his own path. That's why Donnie should prepare everything. He thought it was necessary to arm himself. He just happened to have a weapons cache. Adam was slightly dazzled by Donnie's weapons cache, but when Donnie offered him the M14, he realized he had fallen in love again with an old comrade. He decided to walk this path with his old friend, but Adam wasn't sure if he would make it back alive. He didn't know if he would survive, but he was certain his daughter would be safe here before he departed. Before leaving, he handed his daughter half of his badge, waiting for her to return. He would reunite with his daughter, embracing her as they both waited for the other half. However, this time Adam would not let his daughter suffer the pain of losing a parent ever again. He must absolutely rescue Jenny. At that moment, two henchmen were trying to send Jenny to the Mediterranean as a target. Whether she truly wanted to be with him was another matter entirely. That's a different story, Jenny. She had been praying the whole way, but the doppelganger only felt her heart was in turmoil. Her God was certainly not going to come to her aid now. Eventually, Jenny kicked him hard. He resisted desperately, and finally, he maneuvered the car into the ditch. Jenny took that opportunity to escape, and the doppelganger noticed the unsettling situation. She hurried to chase after her. If she let her escape, they would surely face Dimmy. They would have their skins peeled by Dimmy, as Jenny kept running further away. Seeing this, the doppelganger hurriedly fired her gun, but Jenny used the barbed wire to cut the bonds. Using the barbed wire to cut her restraints, she dashed through and quickly escaped the doppelganger's line of sight. After escaping the doppelganger's view, seeing that the situation might get worse, they had no choice but to split up and search. They had no choice but to separate and search. Jenny took a deep breath of the free air. From here on, she had to figure something out. Fortunately, a police car was nearby. Jenny, who happened to pass by, thought she was lucky and hurriedly stopped her car. She stopped the car, but the two white police officers from earlier got out. Jenny was still vaguely explaining her situation to them. Jenny thought she was saved, but she didn't know that she would be placed in the police car and taken back to the gang's villa. She didn't realize this bad fate. When she met the two men who were smirking, she realized the seriousness of the situation. Jenny was thrown into a foul-smelling drainage ditch and was severely insulted by them. At that moment, filled with anxiety, a video call came in from the Mediterranean. He told the villain not to kill Jenny. He wanted to have fun with her at his farm tonight. He wanted to thoroughly enjoy this girl and even offered an additional $1,000,000. However, the Mediterranean seemed to suffer in such a way that he would not be treated as a human. At this time, Dimmy was only thinking about escaping quickly. He was a gangster. He was completely unconcerned with honor or revenge and only cared about his own head. He was worried about whether it was still intact and hanging above him. He slept fitfully and gathered all the gold and silver treasures to bring with him. At that moment, as he was trying to escape, the Grim Reaper came to take his life. Adam acted swiftly, mercilessly, and accurately, quickly taking down the enemies. He used them to dispatch Dimmy's subordinates, and until someone suspicious came to check the situation. There was only one more dead body. After that, Adam pulled the pin on the grenade. The massive explosion instantly paralyzed everyone with fear. After that, Adam eliminated the targets that arose from the chaos, taking down the remaining goons in one shot. In the end, to save his life, Dimmy resorted to taking his own woman hostage at gunpoint. Watching Adam approach gradually, Dimmy grew increasingly tense. Dimmy tensed up even more as he watched, and the next moment, he felt a bullet hit his palm from Adam. Satisfied by the pitiful scream he let out, Adam knew they had finally gotten to the main topic. Seeing Dimmy, who was still putting on a brave face after being allowed in, Adam threatened to break all his fingers if he didn't tell him the truth. Realizing that Adam wasn't lying, Dimmy had no choice but to show him the way, hoping only to save his life in the end. Along the way, Dimmy candidly spoke to him about his underground organization. Vincent is his personnel manager. The girls he finds for him end up being all his responsibility. Currently, Dimmy is having doubts about one girl. In doing so, he made the entire Russian gang his enemy, but Adam had a big and strong fist, and Dimmy could say nothing anymore. Soon, Dimmy took him to a Mediterranean farm. I assure you, Afterward Adam dragged him out of the car. In the end, he wanted to know why Dimmy had his eye on Jenny, but Vincent took pictures of the girls. He didn't know that buyers would appear there to decide whether or not to buy him. They would set the date and place for the deal. This is his exclusive service. The girls are treated as if they are products, being bought and sold by him, just like a child chooses toys. He selects her and buys her. However, Dimmy said that even if he didn't do it, someone else would take on this job for him. Money is the most important thing. With several gunshots, the man's sinful life came to an end here, and what Adam would next face was a rain of blood and wind. At that moment, the Mediterranean farm was their own. Yushi, who was unaware he was facing a great calamity. With help, Adam seemed to receive divine assistance as the nearby English soldiers were taken down one after another by him. The big men around also realized Adam's true intentions and quickly ordered their gang to head to the farm to deal with Adam. The group set off in large numbers, leaving Adam with little time. At this moment, Adam paid attention and found a gap when he saw someone had become isolated. He immediately swung his sword down, and at that moment, underground, those who had arrived at the sea, Vincent, who intended to use Jenny mercilessly, took her to a locked room and confined her with iron chains. At this time, the normal Mediterranean salary group appeared in front of Jenny. This beast picked up a meat cleaver that was nearby, already poised to butcher Jenny. He couldn't wait any longer, and just as he was about to strike, Adam was already in the best position. He threw a grenade, and the hunt began. Adam At this time, the biker gang arrived and caused a commotion, breaking the windows to get in. They caught Adam off guard, but he quickly reacted. He immediately entered headshot mode, but the opponent's firepower was too strong. He was forced to temporarily take cover. After eliminating the mobile units, a motorcycle exploded, causing a huge uproar. Jenny tried to attract Adam's attention by shouting loudly, but at that moment, the enemy's reinforcements were increasing, and the pressure Adam was facing was extremely high. While he was reloading, he was attacked by the biker gang. Adam desperately resisted the opponent's advances, but he had retired years ago. Nevertheless, Adam was not equipped to handle these attackers, and until a burly man armed with modern firearms entered, Adam was merely a meat shield. This was unjust, but after the burly man manipulated skin and used flesh, Adam found it very difficult to fight back. Adam was thrown aside, and his vision went stars. It felt like flying, unless thrown back with an explosion at the end. Neither side could gain that advantage, and they confronted each other with teeth bared. He is opposing that man, despite having no grudge against him. Their relationship means life or death for them. In the end, it will result in him closing that man's eyes, which is also a sign of respect toward his opponent. Adam hurriedly reloaded his weapon and kicked open the door to the sealed room. Seeing the Mediterranean without losing his haughty attitude, Adam took him down with a single shot. The tattooed man who had been taken away frantically fired indiscriminately. In the end, he exhausted all his bullets and desperately begged for his life, but Adam had no intention of forgiving him easily. Meanwhile, Jenny found an opportunity, and the tattooed woman caught firmly by the tattooed man was struck by Adam. She searched around for her teeth, and with the last elbow strike, the tattooed woman sent him to hell. He was violently choked by Jenny, which meant he had avenged his grudge. Afterwards, Adam shattered the iron chains with a hammer and saved Jenny. Adam told her to follow him closely, making sure not to show herself. At that moment outside, a man brought two hitmen into the messy room. Upon seeing it, the two hitmen were astonished. Outside, two corrupt police officers were preparing to team up with them, completely blocking Adam's way to survive. However, the two hitmen did not realize they were allies. In the end, the unlucky black police officers ended up taking the bait. Meanwhile, Adam was protecting Jenny, aiming the arrow to ensure a hit. The grenade was about to take their lives. Having solved all the troubles, he left a strong man with a rifle for 3 seconds, before he finally took Jenny home. The men outside were watching as they emerged unscathed. Originally, he had support from the council. I was thinking of asking for it, but the other party felt that losing soldiers was too much of a loss. He felt it wasn't worth it, and in the end, He was just a man who lost 2 sons, completely hopeless. Jenny could only vent her anger inside as she stepped back into the kilo. The moment he entered the room, the whole family gathered, tears streaming down their faces. The family didn't even know how to thank Adam properly. However, Adam just slowly stepped back because there was still a guardian angel waiting for him at Donnie's house. It was because, for Adam, even in a terrible life, as long as family was by his side, everything wasn't so sad. Even in a harsh life, having family beside him made everything not so sad.